Welcome to Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story, where we answer the questions you have about your favorite classic authors. What inspired your favorite author to write their novels? What was going on in the world at the time? Follow along with us as we tell you what was happening in the world while your favorite authors wrote your favorite classics. My name is Bree Carlile, and I love to read, and wanted to share my passion with listeners like you. If you enjoy our show, be sure to follow the show on your favorite podcast platform so you get all the new episodes. You can find us on all the social medias at Bite at a Time Books or on our website, biteatatimebooksbehindthestory.com, where you can also sign up for our newsletter for more information on who we're talking about and what's coming next for the podcasts. We're part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you'd also like to hear a book by the author we are currently featuring, check out the Bite at a Time Books podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Today we'll be talking about Jack London during the Gold Rush and his first success. On July 12, 1897, London, age 21, and his sister's husband, Captain Shepherd, sailed to join the Klondike Gold Rush. This was a setting for some of his first successful stories. London's time in the harsh Klondike, however, was detrimental to his health. Like so many other men who were malnourished in the goldfields, London developed scurvy. His gums became swollen, leading to the loss of his forefront teeth. A constant gnawing pain affected his hip and leg muscles, and his face was stricken with marks that always reminded him of the struggles he faced in the Klondike. Father William Judge, the Saint of Dawson, had a facility in Dawson that provided shelter, food, and any available medicine to London and others. His struggles there inspired London's short story, To Build a Fire, 1902, revised in 1908, which many critics assess as his best. His landlords in Dawson were mining engineers Marshall Latham Bond and Lewis Whitford Bond, educated at the bachelor's level at the Sheffield Scientific School at Yale, and at the master's level at Stanford, respectively. The brothers' father, Judge Hiram Bond, was a wealthy mining investor. While the Bond brothers were at Stanford, Hiram, at the suggestion of his brother, bought the new Park Estate at Santa Clara, as well as a local bank. The Bonds, especially Hiram, were active Republicans. Marshall Bond's diary mentions friendly sparring with London on political issues as a camp pastime. London left Oakland with a social conscience and socialist leanings. He returned to become an activist for socialism. He concluded that his only hope of escaping the work trap was to get an education and sell his brains. He saw his writing as a business, his ticket out of poverty, and he hoped as a means of beating the wealthy at their own game. On returning to California in 1898, London began working to get published, a struggle described in his novel Martin Eden, serialized in 1908, published in 1909. His first published story since high school was To the Man on Trail, which has frequently been collected in anthologies. When the Overland Monthly offered him only $5 for it, and was slow paying, London came close to abandoning his writing career. In his words, "Literally and literally, I was saved when the Black Cat accepted his story, 1,000 Deaths, and paid him $40, the first money I ever received for a story." London began his writing career just as new printing technologies enabled lower-cost production of magazines. This resulted in a boom in popular magazines aimed at a wide public audience and a strong market for short fiction. In 1900, he made $2,500 in writing, about $94,000 in today's currency. Among the works he sold to magazines was a short story known as either Diable, 1902, or Petard, 1904, two editions of the same basic story. London received $141.25 for this story on May 27, 1902. In the text, a cruel French-Canadian brutalizes his dog, and the dog retaliates and kills the man. London told some of his critics that man's actions are the main cause of the behavior of their animals, and he would show this famously in another story, The Call of the Wild. In early 1903, London sold The Call of the Wild to the Saturday Evening Post for $750, and the book rights to Macmillan. Macmillan's promotional campaign propelled it to swift success. While living at his rented villa on Lake Merritt in Oakland, California, London met poet George Sterling. In time, they became best friends. In 1902, Sterling helped London find a home closer to his own in nearby Piedmont. In his letters, London addressed Sterling as Greek, owing to Sterling's aquiline nose and classical profile, and he signed them as Wolfe. London was later to depict Sterling as Russ Brissenden in his autobiographical novel Martin Eden, 1910, and as Mark Hall in The Valley of the Moon, 1913. In later life, London indulged his wide-ranging interests by accumulating a personal library of 15,000 volumes. He referred to his books as the tools of my trade. Thank you for joining Bite at a Time Books Behind the Story today, while we answered some of the questions you have about one of your favorite classic novels. Again, my name is Bree Carlile, and I hope you come back next time when we answer more questions about one of your favorite classic authors. If you enjoyed our show, be sure to follow us so you get all the new episodes. We would also love for you to drop us a rating on your favorite podcast platform. You can catch us on all the social medias at Bite at a Time Books, or check out our website, biteatatimebooksbehindthestory.com, where you can sign up for our newsletter. Our show is part of the Bite at a Time Books Productions Network. If you would also like to hear a story by the author we are currently featuring, check out the Bite at a Time Books podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, or on biteatatimebooks.com.